Along the meandering waterways of Vietnam's southern Mekong Delta, a mesmerizing sight greets travelers and locals alike. A mosaic of boats, gently bobbing on the river's surface, serving as vibrant marketplaces. Here, commerce takes on a form unlike anywhere else in the world. Vietnam's floating markets are not just places to buy and sell. They are living, breathing symbols of adaptability, tradition, and communal spirit. To step into this world is to witness a unique economic and cultural ecosystem shaped over generations by the river itself. The origins of these floating markets stem from the very landscape they inhabit. The Mekong Delta, known as the River of Nine Dragons, is a flat expanse laced with a labyrinthine web of rivers, canals, and streams. Life in this region always revolved around the water. Long before paved roads or bridges were a reality, the river served as both highway and lifeline. When the time came to trade goods, share news, and forge community ties, residents naturally did so from their boats at the convergence of the waterways themselves. Thus, the floating market was born, not by design, but out of necessity. Over time, this way of life developed in harmony with the pulse of the river. Boats of all shapes and sizes began to gather at key crossroads along the Mekong and its tributaries, creating floating hubs of exchange. A system emerged where the river, rather than land, was the shared ground, uniting people from far-flung villages and canal-side hamlets into thriving microeconomies. At the heart of these markets, the Cai Rang floating market in Can Tho City stands out as the largest and most famous. Every morning, just as the sky blushes with the first rays of sunlight, hundreds of boats converge on this stretch of river, their hulls brimming with local produce. Heaps of pineapples, watermelons, mangoes, and bananas fan out in dazzling displays, while the calls of vendors drift through the misty air. Cai Rang is both marketplace and spectacle, a kinetic festival where senses are overwhelmed by the colors, scents, and sounds of river life at full tilt. Yet not all floating markets are alike. A few bends downstream lies Phong Dien Market, a quieter, more intimate affair. This is where the local flavor truly shines, far removed from the bustling crowds. Here, the market seems to awaken with the dawn itself. At the gentle hour before sunrise, the river glows softly. Lanterns flicker atop small boats, and transactions take on a rhythm as ancient as the current. Most buyers and sellers are local farmers, exchanging fruits from their own orchards or fresh catch from the previous night, with much less eye to the gaze of outsiders. To arrive early is to witness the Mekong Delta as it has been for generations, quiet, resilient, and deeply connected to the landscape. Travel farther along the networks of waterways, and you'll arrive at the Long Xuyen floating market in An Giang province. Here, the scene is more about work than display. Families of traders gather not for show, but to sustain their livelihoods. This market's authentic charm is undeniable. While Cai Rang might brim with activity and the occasional tourist, Long Xuyen feels wholly rooted in local need, a place where deals are struck between weathered hands and steady eyes, and where the day's business unfolds with a calm assurance. Across all these markets, the variety of goods on offer is staggering. At any given morning, you might see boats laden with an array of fruits. The sharp, sweet aroma of pineapples mingling with the bold colors of dragon fruit, jackfruit, coconuts, and star apples. Seasonal abundance dictates what is sold. When mangoes are in harvest, every boat seems golden with ripening fruit. Watermelons stack like green treasures on wide-holed sampans. Vendors skillfully peel, slice, and bag their offerings, all while maintaining perfect balance on the river's gentle sway. Yet produce is only part of the picture. Vendors peddle vegetables, fresh herbs, flowers, and even live poultry. Others offer bags of rice, locally made noodles, or household essentials. There are boats dedicated to selling flasks of strong black coffee, bowls of steaming pho or hu tiu, baskets of sweet cakes, and even lottery tickets. Families may hawk second-hand clothes or children's toys while chatting with familiar faces and strangers alike. One of the most ingenious aspects of the markets is the Bao Kai Meo system, a centuries-old advertising method unique to the Delta. Each selling boat is equipped with a tall bamboo pole, known locally as the Cai Bao, or cat's tail pole. Vendors hang samples of their wares on these poles: a pineapple to indicate fruit for sale, a bunch of water spinach signaling fresh vegetables, and so forth. This simple yet effective system allows buyers to scan the river and quickly identify which boat has what they need, transforming the poles into the original floating billboards long before digital marketing or even street signs became commonplace. Commerce here unfolds quite differently from what you might find on land. Transactions are entirely boat to boat. Buyers, often in tiny, nimble sampans, row alongside the larger stationary seller boats, tying off to barter or purchase directly on the water. It's a delicate ballet, requiring skill at handling both product and paddle. Money and goods change hands over the gunnel, with vendors moving deftly from one customer to the next, often recognizing loyal faces from afar. In addition to produce, floating cafes embody a uniquely Vietnamese ingenuity. These boats serve as mobile kitchens and cafes, preparing and marketing their goods to the surrounding crowd. Customers pull up alongside and soon find themselves enjoying a frosty glass of café suada, Vietnamese iced coffee, a steaming bowl of hue tu topped with fragrant herbs, or a refreshingly sweet sugarcane juice, sometimes delivered straight over the water in a clever handoff or basket and pole system. Here, the river itself becomes both dining room and thoroughfare, uniting people over simple, satisfying meals. Life along these aquatic markets maintains a lively pace, but nowhere is it busier than during the morning rush hour. Between 5:30 and 8 o'clock a.m., the river thrums with activity. Hundreds of boats jostle and bump gently, each voice contributing to a chorus of negotiation, laughter, and morning greetings. This is when the day's best produce is traded, when regulars come to restock baskets and meet friends, and when the market's full energy is palpable. Locals know that by late morning the heat descends and the market gradually dissolves, leaving behind only ripples on the water and the memory of another bustling dawn. Floating markets play a crucial role in the local economy, especially for people living in remote canal-side areas where travel by road is difficult or even impossible. For these residents, the floating market is more than a place of commerce. It's a lifeline for goods, services, information, and social connection. Farmers bring their harvests to sell or trade, families restock daily supplies, and merchants sustain their livelihoods through networks of trust and familiarity. Seasonal changes in the Mekong Delta are reflected directly in the market's offerings. As fruit seasons change, so too does the character of the market itself. In the high season for mango or rambutan, expect an overwhelming abundance, with prices and bargaining reflecting the rhythms of the harvest. When jackfruit trees weigh heavy, the air fills with their sweet, heavy fragrance, mingling with the shouts and calls of sellers announcing the day's best deals. Boats in the floating markets come in all sizes, from small sampans, just big enough for a single family with produce on board, to larger cargo-style hulls that appear almost like floating homes. On these bigger vessels, vendors might live for the entire market season, bringing their families, pets, and even small gardens in pots. Life on these boats is resourceful and adaptive. Cooking is done on tiny stoves at the prow, water is fetched from the river and boiled for safety, children nap in hammocks strung between masts, and laundry dries on makeshift lines. Everyday routines, cooking, bathing, sleeping, and working, all unfold on the boats, blurring the boundaries between private life and the demands of business. In the relative cool of dawn, mothers might rinse rice or prep vegetables, while fathers maneuver through the crowded waters. Throughout the morning, children can be seen playing on deck, sometimes helping with chores or stealing bites of fresh fruit. For visitors and photographers, floating markets offer a visual feast. The interplay of light and color at sunrise, combined with the ceaseless movement of boats and people, creates endless opportunities for breathtaking images. Serious photographers know to arrive early when the sun casts a soft golden light across the surface of the river, highlighting the silhouettes of poles, sails, and busy figures. Between the hours of 5:30 and 8 o'clock a.m., the market is at its peak, vivid, dynamic, and alive with energy, before the river grows too bright and activities slow in the midday heat. Yet beyond their economic and visual appeal, floating markets are of immense cultural value. They represent much more than just a place to shop. Each market trip offers the chance to witness traditions handed down through generations, records of resilience in the face of ever-changing conditions. Here, respect for the river and its cycles is tangible. Vendors and buyers alike understand their livelihoods are inextricably tied to the natural world. Patterns of speech, methods of trade, and styles of dress all reflect deeper social traditions. Elders recount stories of the old Mekong, while youngsters adapt with new skills and ideas, ensuring the market's continued evolution. Local customs, such as bartering, morning greetings, and even the shared etiquette of maneuvering through crowded waters, foster a sense of unity and belonging. The floating markets of the Mekong Delta, in all their riotous color and constant motion, capture the soul of southern Vietnam. They remind all who visit that commerce can be a celebration, that community thrives in unexpected places, and that tradition endures even as modernity encroaches. Whether seeking the taste of fresh pineapple, the energy of early morning bargaining, or the quiet dignity of river life, one finds in these markets something uniquely local and universally human. As the sun rises higher and boats begin to disperse, the floating market returns to the gentle hush of the river's flow. Yet in the memory of its daily rhythm, one witnesses not just a marketplace, but a living heritage, a culture forever shaped by water, trade, and the ties that bind communities together. Embarking on a journey to Vietnam's Mekong Delta is like stepping into a living, breathing tapestry of culture, history, and nature. The floating markets here are legendary, captivating travelers with their bustle, colors, and the endless charm of everyday life unfolding on shimmering, winding waterways. But beyond the photographs and the bursts of flavor on your tongue, visiting a floating market means touching a way of life that has flourished for centuries, yet today stands at the crossroads between tradition and change. For those eager to truly experience these markets, preparation begins before you even set foot on a boat. The adventure starts with deciding how to approach your visit. Will you explore independently, carving your own path and setting your own pace? Or will you let a guided tour usher you through with the benefit of local insight and interpretation? Each path offers its own rewards. Independent travelers cherish the freedom to linger, to follow unexpected sights and sounds as they drift by. Yet guided tours, especially when led by local experts, can provide invaluable context, revealing hidden stories behind each boat, deciphering the calls of vendors, and introducing travelers to authentic market etiquette and regional flavors. Both approaches allow for authentic immersion, but if you seek understanding as much as experience, consider booking with a reputable local guide. Tours departing from Can Tho, Vinh Long, or An Giang are widely recommended, each city with ample homestay and accommodation options, making for an ideal base. Regardless of how you arrive, one rule stands supreme. Timing is everything. Floating markets start at dawn, with the first glimmers of sunlight painting the water in gold and rose hues. Before 6 a.m., the river is alive with commerce. Wooden boats, big and small, glide quietly in the dawn mist, laden with heaped piles of mangoes, pineapples, lotus roots, jackfruit, and all manner of vegetables. Traders banter, children peek over boat edges, and the day's business unfolds amidst a soundtrack of gentle splashes and laughter. But by 9 a.m., much of this magic is over. Traders pack their goods away to head home before the heat thickens, and the river quietly returns to stillness. So, to experience the market's full vibrancy, set your alarm early, journey to the river while the air is still cool, and let the morning rhythms envelop you. River markets are also a culinary haven. Imagine savoring a bowl of steaming pho or bon rieux, a rich crab noodle soup, while your boat rocks gently with each passing wake. Market vendors, equipped with diminutive floating kitchens, ply their trade with expertise, ladling broth, slicing herbs, and portioning out fresh noodles from enormous bubbling pots. Sticky rice, steamed in banana leaves and flecked with mung bean, joins the feast. And there is always fresh fruit, pineapple carved into dazzling spirals, dragon fruit glimmering magenta in the early light, mangoes ripe to dripping perfection. All of this can be paired with a traditional Vietnamese iced coffee, strong, sweet, and perfectly refreshing as the sun climbs higher. Markets are filled with small wonders, so be ready to try something new. Each market boat is a floating kitchen, and every vendor crafts their own specialties, shaped by family tradition. It's helpful to bring small bills to make buying smooth and easy. Most transactions are simple. Pass your dong to the vendor, who deftly produces change from discreet wooden compartments lining their boats. This system is quick, efficient, and built on countless generations of trust and community. Trying to buy directly from these family boats is not just practical, but meaningful. Each purchase supports the livelihoods of individuals who have called the river home for decades. Whether it's fresh produce, a bowl of noodles, or a handcrafted souvenir, every transaction is a small yet tangible thread woven into the local economy. Yet as immersive as the experience is, travel brings responsibility. The popularity of floating markets has grown, and traveler choices do ripple through these fragile communities. Ethical tourism matters greatly here. Seek out tours run by local or family-owned businesses that prioritize environmental care and cultural sensitivity. Choose options that use smaller boats, avoid single-use plastics, and follow river etiquette, simple choices that help preserve the delicate ecosystem for generations to come. Local guides are also stewards of these traditions, often carrying deep knowledge of their community's past and its hopes for the future. When you travel with them, you contribute meaningfully to their livelihood, helping ensure floating markets do not fade quietly away. The markets themselves are only part of the experience. Nearby, you'll often find workshops and family-run craft businesses. Rice paper, coconut candy, and rice wine are enduring favorites, demonstrating the ingenuity and resourcefulness at the heart of Mekong Delta life. Stop at a workshop to see delicate rice paper being stretched and dried over bamboo racks, or watch as coconut flesh is transformed into delicately sweet candies, a process of patience, skill, and warmth. Many of these businesses are small, crafts passed down through generations. To witness them firsthand is to better appreciate the culture's deep respect for both food and craft. Accommodations in towns like Can Tho or Vinh Long are another highlight. Not merely a place to sleep, but an opportunity to slow down. Staying overnight means you're perfectly positioned to catch the dawn market rush, but it also invites you to stroll through local neighborhoods at dusk, chat with vendors, or perhaps share a meal with a host family. Homestays offer a gentle pace, allowing you to glimpse daily rhythms far from the tourist trail. Whether it's sharing stories over dinner, learning to paddle a traditional sampan, or simply enjoying the quiet as fireflies drift over canals, slowing down only deepens the experience. Safety is a natural concern on the water. While larger tour boats are generally stable, smaller vessels can be lively, especially when woven in and out of the thronging market crowd. Always wear a life jacket, especially if you're not a confident swimmer or traveling with children. Keep valuables close at hand and protected in a waterproof bag. After all, a sudden splash is always possible amidst so much movement. And above all, respect the rhythms of local life. Don't stand suddenly in a boat, and be conscious of your wake if you are paddling yourself. Greetings, always with a smile, open doors and hearts, and a simple chin chow goes a long way. Even as visitors, we have a role in supporting local traditions and helping sustain market culture. Seeking out unique souvenirs, dried jackfruit, homemade banana chips, coconut candies, or a bottle of aromatic rice wine means your travel dollars have a positive impact, directly benefiting families who continue to live and trade on the river. Bringing something home from these bustling waters is a gift not just of flavor, but of tradition, helping preserve small-scale entrepreneurship in its purest form. The floating markets also make for a memorable family adventure. Each trip to the river is an education, a lesson in culture, geography, and the boundless creativity of life on the water. Children often find the rocking boat rides exhilarating, marveling at the balance of vendors and the artistry of market transactions. From spotting rare birds along the reeds to tasting sweet, sticky rice cakes, the markets create memories that spark curiosity about a distinctly different way of living. Boats are safe, captained by experienced locals, and the pace is relaxed. A perfect blend of fun and discovery. And yet, underneath the vibrancy lies a quieter story. Floating markets, once the lifeblood of commerce in the Delta, are slowly fading. Modernization, new roads, growing supermarkets, the lure of urban jobs pulls new generations away from the river. Year by year, the number of trading boats shrinks, and with them, the songs and traditions of an ancient trade. Each visit, then, becomes an act of witness, a way to honor and remember before these floating legacies recede into memory. That's what gives each market visit its poignancy and significance. Floating markets are not museums. They are real, evolving communities, shaped by history, but also by the choices we make today. Responsible, thoughtful travel, rooted in respect and curiosity, can support ongoing livelihoods and keep the song of the river alive. To visit is not just to taste or to see, but also to participate, even briefly, in the ebb and flow of a truly living heritage. For the traveler, this means being present. For the sights, the scents, the sounds of trading calls before sunrise. It means understanding that behind each sail is a story, a family, a hope for the future. With every bowl of noodles enjoyed, every smile exchanged, and every kilo of mangoes bought and shared, you become a small part of a much bigger, richer tale. There is indescribable joy in the simplest moments. Sipping sweet, strong Vietnamese coffee as the sky blushes pink, hearing the calls of vendors across the water, feeling the gentle roll of the boat beneath you. There is a bond, too, among travelers, each one gently reminded of the universal rhythms that connect people, no matter how different their worlds may seem. In that suspended space between the banks, surrounded by the pulse of tradition, you find a sense of timelessness, a rare gift in a swiftly changing world. So, as you consider your own journey to the Mekong Delta, think about what kind of experience you hope for. Not just the photos you'll bring home, but the stories you'll gather, the people you'll meet, and the choices you'll make along the way. Remember, the best journeys are those that leave a place richer than how we found it, in memory, in culture, in hope for the future. Floating markets stand as living legacies. They are not merely tourist attractions or relics of the past, but vibrant heartbeats of Vietnamese culture. By visiting with openness and care, by supporting local traders and respecting the river's time-worn customs, travelers do more than simply observe. They participate in a tradition that, with the right care and intention, might endure for generations to come. So arrive early, hungry for adventure and connection. Wander through the morning mist as wooden boats ply the river, sharing laughter and stories in the language of trade. Taste what the Mekong offers. A bowl of noodles, a sip of coffee, the sweetness of a just-peeled mangosteen. Smile, ask questions, and listen to the river's quiet wisdom. Take home not just souvenirs, but the memory of a marketplace that floats between past and future, holding with grace a piece of Vietnam's soul.